I don't think I have ever been more satisfied to see a gargoyle-looking creature step on the person responsible for killing a character I deeply, deeply enjoy. This week's episode of Danmachi, episode 8 of season 3, was powerful. Coming off of last week's episode, which I think most of us can agree was close to a perfect episode, it gave us stakes that really would shape and change everything. And while some things we might not have thought about was the whole idea of adventurers have a code about not stealing another kill, it's actually a pretty intelligent way for Belle to try to navigate around it. It doesn't change the fact that this episode was filled with foolish actions because of a boy with a heart of gold. This episode had things that I was dreaming of happening. The Minotaur was something that I asked for weeks back because Dix was just a horrible person who I wanted to see splattered against the wall. I got that in this episode and it did nothing for me. Revenge gave me nothing in this episode because all I could think about is what is going to happen with Wine and what is going to happen with Belle and his familia. This episode and the themes that it brought up are unlike any other we've ever seen in Danmachi. Everything you can argue that's good about Belle, you can also argue is negative about Belle. Belle is a person who, because of his actions, because he saved a single monster in a world that is not ready to accept intelligent monsters, he caused destruction upon a city, probably more money than he'll ever make, or at least for years he'll ever make. People were injured, and many could have died because of his actions trying to save a friend. By all logical definitions, you can say he did the wrong thing. Put in his shoes. Put in the shoes of your family is in danger. Even if saving one person from your friends list, your family's list, your love list, whatever that may be, could cause the destruction of an entire town. A true kind-hearted person who cares about their people above all else will take that risk and be a fool. And the message of this episode from the skeleton creature, I always forget the name of, but they're talking about how because they're a fool, and across all of history, there's been adventurers who would work with these Xenos, but there's never been someone who would disregard their own life to help another like them. And in doing so, you are the biggest fool the world has ever known, but there is a place for that foolishness. And you can even see the actions towards the end of the episode, where he gets confronted by one of the people who supported him above all else ever since season 1. Did you cause this? Were you selfish? Yes, gets slapped in the face, and can't even agree with that. No way you would do that. You're too good of a person. Belle did something that is irresponsible, that is horrifying, but I can't say I disagree with his actions. If a person like Belle didn't exist, who did try to change the status quo, the world would continue to be in a stalemate. If we use the logic that, well, the world isn't ready, it's a single intelligent monster, there's ways for the others they've escaped, there's still a chance for the Xenos in the future. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters to Belle is that it doesn't matter if it's Wine, it doesn't matter if it's Hestia, it doesn't matter if it's Miss Supporter. Whoever is in danger, he will go to the ends of the earth. He will destroy an entire city to save someone that he cherishes. While you can say that's evil and no different than a supervillain, it does show you that Belle is the revolution in this world. That without him, things won't change. There's 800 years past, and this creature was unable to do the resurrection spell. It was only because of Belle's tears. It was only because of Belle's actions that this spell finally worked. You can get one of the most emotional resurrections that didn't feel like an asshole, that didn't feel like it came from nowhere. We know of this powerful godlike magic. We know things that the adventurers can't do. It makes sense, and to have 800 years of someone suffering thinking they have useless magic to then being able to do something so rewarding, to give the destruction that we see on this city a meaning at the very least. It brings a tear to your eye. This week's Danmachi episode is all about making you question, was it worth it? And everyone's going to have a different opinion, and I think even the people who agree with saving Wine will still feel dirty thinking that, because you do see what could have happened, how the Familia could have completely crumbled. By the looks of it, they might be able to at the very least skate around that Belle was reckless and wanted the prize all to himself. But still, he was shooting firebolts at other adventurers trying to stop this serpent-like creature. There's going to be long-term damage to the Familia's appeal in the world. I can't disagree with what Belle's doing, because if you just say the world's not ready for these intelligent monsters, then the world's never going to be ready. If we stand still and just go with the status quo, revolution and change will never happen. Bell is the change this world will have, and I don't think the change is going to come without fire and ice, honestly. This dude's going to burn the world down, it feels like. Based on what he was willing to do for a single girl, it feels like what Bell is going to accomplish is going to tear down as much as it's going to build. And there is going to be death, there is going to be chaos, there is going to be plots to go against him, but I can't deny that foolish nature isn't what this world needs. It needs a kick in the ass from someone like Bell. And you can argue everything he did was wrong, but at the same time you can argue everything he did was right from a personal standpoint. Everyone is selfish. Everyone has their own desires and beliefs that go for their own benefit rather than others. And while we definitely looked at Bell throughout these past couple of seasons as someone always trying to do things for others, this is no different than anything he's ever done, whether it's a prostitute who he's doing everything to save, even if it costs his familia their life, even if it's, just disregarding the rules of the world and just continuing to push himself. He's always been a selfish character. We're just seeing what that selfishness really brings when it doesn't go completely according to plan and luck is completely on his side. He is a foolish, foolish character, but that's what makes him so intriguing and why you want to root for him. Because even if he does bring about destruction, what's a world without change? What's a world where it's okay to say someone that you deeply love and respect is okay to die because the world's not ready to see things past black and white? Episode was remarkable. The themes and how much you can think about these actions really turned Danmachi once again into something you really want to recommend. The fights were incredible. We got the Minotaur. The Minotaur was expected at this point, but how quick of a death it was and the blood splatter, it was relieving to know he couldn't do anymore, but it wasn't like that revenge gave me any satisfaction, which isn't me criticizing it. It's purposely done that way to give you that, what does violence really get you in this world? Because look at the current violence. This kid means nothing anymore. It's everything outside. You have Aiza's battle with the Minotaur, who, honestly, that Minotaur is a total badass. I was worried about death here. I mean, you lost an arm, but I mean, all things considered, if you're going up against a sword princess, that's probably the least of your concerns, but this dude was holding his own, and I really like the animation. It's nowhere close to the animation of Bell versus the Minotaur back in Season 1, but it was still really refined, and I loved the looseness of the line work where you really could stop and go frame by frame and see how they were connecting the individual frames to make this very abstract style fight that just had such creativity and fluidity to it that just knocked my socks off. And when the Minotaur started doing his insane magic sword attack and everything about it, there was just so much fun with the lighting and visual directing to give it a sense of urgency where it starts off saying, of course, Sword Princess is going to defeat, but then it's like, oh no, the Minotaur could actually kill the Sword Princess. And then it kind of ends in a point where you're like, okay, well, Minotaur's clearly dying, and thank God for the smoke bombs because we really would have lost this character. The cavalry arrived, and with it brought total destruction, and this episode was just so many things racing through your mind, not knowing how to feel or what to think, and is something that I think you can have a conversation with everyone who watched this episode and come out with a different perspective and opinion on at least one aspect about episode 8. Because there's so many ways to view it and no one is in the right. I'm not here saying we have to say Bell did the 100% right thing. I'm not here saying Bell did the 100% wrong thing. I'm saying Bell is a fool, but I want to follow that fool's ambition, even if it does bring about bloodshed. And maybe that makes me selfish as a watcher, because if you applied that exact same thought process to the real world, a lot of innocent people could end up hurt, if not dead. But that's what this show is doing so great. Taking a character who started off thinking he's a nothing cardboard cutout template insert for the viewer, harem magnet, into someone who has become so unique that he's Bell Chrono and no one else. This episode was 10 out of 10 just like last week for me. Some people I feel like might latch on to the idea of don't attack Wine because this is my kill and say that was convenient to get out of the situation, and they might also say it was convenient about the resurrection, both of which I would say no. I liked both of them, and I think they served an incredible purpose to prolong the episode, but also give it even more uncertainty and a reward that doesn't feel rewarding after seeing the damage that we caused. Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think, and where do you think it's going to go next week with 4 episodes left to go? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like to show your support and hit that subscribe button if you haven't been new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.